Ready? Big sign over there. That's me.
That's the stadium I play in.
Sam Darnold is the MVP of the league. We'll see you guys next Tuesday, baby. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Morning Wood. This, as always, is a sports show hosted by two idiots. We are those two idiots. Yours truly.
Morning.
I'm Matthew, and I'm joined with my good friend Jason, who's on my right. I think he's on your left. I don't know where.
Let me picture it. You're that way. And then I'm this way.
What he said. Welcome back, guys. We're going to talk about, obviously, football. Football's happening. There's a lot going on. I don't know what's happening in football anymore. College is crazy. NFL's crazy. We're going to get into it, though, starting off with top of the morning news, looking at some stuff that's been going on the last couple of days. Jordan Love. A little update from the injury. There's rumors now that it looks like he may return sooner than expected. The reports. It is good news.
If you're a Packers fan.
Very good news. Very, very good news. They kind of need him. And the report was Matt LaFleur hasn't ruled out Jordan Love for this week's game. We all know he's not playing. I think that was for just a little bit confusion. Maybe they can study a little strategy, study and prepare for both quarterbacks. But the real rumor is that he might possibly return within the 3-week mark. That was originally the minimum of the 3 to 6 weeks that he was kind of ruled out in that time frame. So we'll see. Hopefully get more updates for that. Sticking on the injury side of things we look to the Colts' former second-round pick, Juju Brents is placed on IR. He is done for the year with a season-ending knee injury. That's a tough loss to the Colts secondary. He showed pretty good signs last year as a rookie. He forced a fumble. He had a fumble recovery and an interception in 8 games. So that's a big loss to the young secondary of the Colts. Unfortunate for that. Staying still on the injury side of things, Sunday night, the Rams Pro Bowl rookie receiver from last year, Puka Nacua, is placed on IR as well. Sean McVay puts him on IR with a knee injury. He will miss at least 4 games. Could possibly be longer than that. We don't really know yet what the time frame's looking like, but not good. Not good for that Rams offense. He had a good game. The tackle was weird. I don't know if y'all saw the play, but it was a weird, awkward tackle, so that's unfortunate.
He tried to come back in too. I remember seeing him one play in the second half, and then he after that it was GG's for him.
Yeah, he did return. He came back in, but yeah, not looking good. We hope for a speedy recovery for him. And lastly, staying on the injury, good Lord, injuries happening all over the place. The already lackluster Panthers lose probably their best defensive player, arguably, in Pro Bowl DT Derek Brown.
He's the best player on the football team.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he's definitely the best player on that team. He's done. Another knee injury, a meniscus tear, sends him out for the season and now requires surgery. I personally think this should just be the Panthers are on the clock. I think they're on the clock. I think we're looking to next year already for Carolina. Shedeur Sanders could be a possibility for them. Not good. Not the huge loss for Carolina. That was the last thing they really needed, and that's unfortunate. Moving on to my team, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin announces that our team will be preparing Justin Fields to be the starter again this week versus Denver. Interesting. I didn't realize how bad Russell's calf injury was or anything. I haven't really heard too much details on it, but Fields is coming off 17 for 23, 156-yard performance against the Falcons. We kind of need him to play a little bit better. We're not going to be able to kick field goals every game and win, but we are planning to start him week 2. It's not 100% yet, but most likely I'm assuming Fields will be taking the snaps this Sunday.
I think they're just making sure Russell's 100%. Fields got it done last week. let's make sure that Russell doesn't like make that injury worse on some against the Broncos. Like maybe if it was like the Chiefs or something, you would play. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if we were playing a better team, we'd probably see Russ. But like you said, winning last week, not the greatest opponent this week, and we're at home, so I think that we're going to just leave him in there, which is fine. And then lastly, everyone's heard about it. It's talked about everywhere, but All-Pro receiver Tyreek Hill gets arrested before Sunday morning's game, Week 1. And since then, there's been more information dropped and released. The body cam footage was shown about what happened. He's also been on CNN to talk about it, and a lot more stuff has kind of
and also
surfaced.
That's the toughest touchdown celebration of all time. After
that touchdown celebration was dirty. Yeah, a weird situation that happened. I know he was calling for a lot of like the cops and their jobs and stuff. Not to really talk too much about it, but I did want to read the start of Miami's tweet recently. They said, "We are saddened by the overly aggressive and violent conduct dictated toward Tyreek Hill, Calais Campbell, and is it
Jonnu
Smith by the police officers before yesterday's game. It was both maddening and heartbreaking to watch the very people we trust to protect our community use such unnecessary force and hostility towards these players. Yet it is also a reminder that not every situation like this ends in peace. As we are grateful for this one did, what if it wasn't Tyreek Hill is the question that was carried with resounding impact." That's from the Miami Dolphins tweet. Again, weird situation. Kind of sucks to see. Yeah. Any thoughts on that? I don't know. It was strange. I think the cops were kind of a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, they were definitely over aggressive. I mean, it's a good point. Like, what if it wasn't Tyreek Hill? Like, his face was probably like on a sign, like right next to the building, and he's still getting arrested and thrown onto the ground.
That big sign over there. That's me.
Yeah, that's the stadium I play in. Like, they pay me hundreds of millions of dollars. That's actually my face right there on the side of the building.
In an hour, I'm going to be catching touchdowns if you want to watch.
For real. But yeah, crazy situation. Obviously, the cops were just a little bit too, not a little bit, like overly aggressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunate situation.
Yeah. But that's the news. That's what's gone on for the last couple of days. We are going to get into the next segment. Jay, if you want to take that one.
Get into the Antonio Brown tweet of the day.
Kicks a man. Antonio Brown.
Who on social media, man? This is about us, nobody else, man.
If you live in America, you might have noticed that there was a debate last night. I didn't watch the debate. I don't get into politics like that. But
I forgot it was on.
Yeah, it was Tuesday. Nothing to do. Not watching the debate. But Antonio Brown was pretty passionate about it. If you follow him on Twitter, you know that. But he did put out a poll. Who won the debate? Trump, Kamala, or Antonio Brown?
I made my vote.
I made my vote as well, as you can see. It was Antonio Brown, clearly on Twitter. He definitely won the debate.
I'm voting for Antonio.
He's actually a legend. If you follow, I just can't.
You got to follow him.
Yeah, Antonio Brown won the debate for sure. We're all cooked no matter what anyway, so let's just move on to some football.
Let's talk about football.
Last episode, we had two more outstanding games to talk about. Sunday Night Football, Lions-Rams is the first one. The Lions outlast the Rams in OT. The Lions grinded down the Rams for the most part of the first half. We're up 17-3 early in the third quarter. But here comes Matt Stafford and the Rams.
Yes, sir.
Putting up 3 straight scoring drives. They take the lead late in the fourth quarter, 20-17. And then that will be the last time the Rams actually touch the football. Jared Goff and the boys get in field goal range, tie the game. I believe as time expired. I don't think the Rams got the ball back after that. Not too sure, but anyway, they win the Lions win the coin toss in overtime, march down the field, 8 plays, David Montgomery, 1-yard touchdown run to end the game. But that wasn't the only loss for the Rams. Puka Nacua, like we said, in top of the morning news, out on IR for at least 4 weeks. Cooper Kupp did pick up some of that slack. Looked like the Triple Crown winner from a few years ago. 110 yards, 14 receptions, which matches career high. But I think a big loss for the Rams, two guys on the offensive line. Left tackle Joe Noteboom was carted off the field, who was already their backup left tackle, which is not good. And then left guard Steve Avila also left the game with a knee injury. So some serious concerns for the Rams O-line. How do you feel about that game, Matt? Looking over it.
Overall, like, it was a great game. It was fun watching those two teams. I'd be shocked if that's not a preview for maybe the NFC playoffs this year. You know, two teams that basically had the same exact stat line. Interesting stats. For the Rams, they had 387 total yards of offense. The Detroit Lions had 363. Rams were 5 for 12 on third down, and the Detroit Lions were 6 for 13. And they both allowed 2 sacks, and the Rams punted 3 times to Detroit's 4. So very even matchup. Like you said, it was a lot of back and forth. In a weird way, Rams started slow, didn't really get going until the second half. But overall, they clawed their way back, which was a good sign. Stafford, like you said, he was making clutch throws for them. He had one play where he rolled out to the right. He escaped some pressure, made a really good throw. And then shortly after that, or before, I can't remember the exact scenario, but he threw probably the best pass and catch of the night. He threw about a 20-yard pass to Cooper Kupp on the left side on the sideline. It was a beautiful throw, beautiful catch. That connection looked, like you said, really good. But unfortunately, they allow Detroit to get the ball back. 2-minute drill. Yeah, man. Detroit goes down the field in 2 minutes. Jared Goff marches down the field. Like you said, it's the last time the Rams got to touch the ball. Overtime, I should have known it was over when they won the coin toss and they panned to Dan Campbell, and my man looked like the Grinch out there. His grin was ear to ear, and they marched down the field easily and win that game. Great game overall, though, but yeah. I liked what I saw from both of the teams. Like you said, unfortunate losses for the Rams. Looking forward, that might be some key factors in the games upcoming for them. But, yeah, overall, great game. And, yeah, Lions got it done, and the culture change of them winning like that, I think shows the testament to their coaching staff and that culture they're building.
Yeah, definitely 3 years ago, they, throw a pick six and win overtime or something like that, something crazy. Just like the same old Lions.
Yeah.
But the Lions
much different
are back.
Look.
Brand
much
new
different.
Lions. Let's move on to the Monday night game. The 49ers dominate in a big win, 32-19, without maybe the best offensive player in the NFL, Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. They spoiled Aaron Rodgers' return to the NFL by really not even letting him play on the field. Jordan Mason filled in. You may not know who Jordan Mason was.
I didn't even know who he was.
But now you know who Jordan Mason is. Filled in for the injured Christian McCaffrey. And Kyle Shanahan didn't skip a beat. Whoever was in there was running forever. Mason ran for 147 yards on 28 carries. An insane stat. Over 90 of those yards were before he was even touched.
Yeah, that's
which
insane.
is insane. The Jets' defensive line was getting absolutely bullied by the Niners. Everyone in the building, everyone watching, knew they were going to run the ball, and it did not matter. Rodgers, from my perspective, didn't look too bad. Yeah. He actually put together some decent drives when he was on the field. He had 167 yards in the air, went 13 for 21. And Breece Hall looked like he's going to be that workhorse running back for the Jets. Braylon Allen, the rookie, only had 1 carry, and that was on the garbage time drive with Tyrod in at QB. So Hall was pretty much taking every snap at running back. 16 rush attempts for 54 yards, 5 receptions for 39. Allen Lazard, that old connection with Rodgers, didn't look too great in the first half. He had a big drop, went into the locker room, but came out, had that 36-yard catch on the Aaron Rodgers special free play when the Niners jumped off sides late in the third quarter. But other than that, the TD drive in the first quarter and then that broken play pass to Lazard, other than those 2 drives, it didn't even feel like I saw Rodgers play football. The Niners just ran the ball down their throat for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. The time of possession was just under 39 minutes to the Jets 21. That's over a full quarter more of holding the ball. So due to the Niners run game, Jets couldn't get off the field. Their defense could not get off the field 8 straight scoring drives from the Niners was the story of that game.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the Niners in that one?
I think I came out of that game thinking what I thought coming into the season. The Niners have maybe the best roster and personnel in the NFL. Like we saw that, obviously, how good they had at running back success wise is not a testament to Christian McCaffrey being like a system back or anything. He's just that good, but that system itself is unbelievable. The Jets, like you said, they did come out hot to start the game. They had good. I mean, they did have the fumble early. Fred Warner made a great play, and the key drop you talked about. But overall, they came out hot. They were looking good. Rodgers was making good passes. They looked like they were in a fluid rhythm offensively early. Like with Lazard and Wilson, they looked good. 6 catches for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns from Lazard, and Wilson had 6 catches for 60. Again, the connections were there, but the biggest stat, like you said, the biggest reason of this game was the 49ers had the ball for 38 minutes.
The Jets didn't get to play.
That's insane. And like you said, the touchdown. The Jets did statistically have the ball for 21 minutes, but that last drive will take a couple minutes off. Yeah. They had less than 20 minutes to work with against, again, the best roster in football, the best defense in football. That's not a recipe for success. The Jets defense also was getting literally like the line of scrimmage was wherever the 49ers wanted it. If they wanted it 5 yards down the field before contact, that was it. They wanted it 7 yards down the field. It seemed like every play when they showed the all 22 angle, every play they had that worked was like you could drive my Corolla through the hole.
I'm running for 100 yards against the Jets if I'm in the backfield.
And again, that's not taking anything away from the running backs they have, but that system, I wrote down in my notes that this 49ers play calling zones, that West Coast zone scheme is maybe one of the best schemes I've ever seen since watching football. It is truly beautiful to look at. Another key takeaway is the 49ers look like they're in November already. It looks like they're in week 10. I think the only 2 teams that really came out looking like that this week were the Chiefs and the Niners. I'm not shocked. They've been in the Super Bowl, quite a few times.
Also crazy because they had a bunch of those holdouts in training camp, like pretty much all the way up to like the start of the season, like Trent Williams. Brandon Ayuk had a big drop. Maybe if he plays some training camp, he makes that catch. But McCaffrey's been hurt. But they put it together. I mean, Trent Williams didn't let up a QB pressure in the game.
Yeah, and he came back seamlessly, didn't even miss a snap.
Yeah.
And looked just like the All-Pro we know.
He did look like he gained a little weight. I don't know if you saw him walking off the field or going to the locker room, but he looked like he was been sitting on his couch. But it didn't matter.
My man enjoying the holdout a little bit.
He went to the locker room to get an IV.
Yeah,
he was hurting.
And they were quick with it. He was back.
Good.
He was back on the field. He didn't miss a snap. And again, they dominated the line of scrimmage. And lastly, the Brock Purdy noise. I know a lot of people have talked about Brock Purdy being a game manager and this and that. I agree to an extent, but it does seem like every time he has a option or a decision, it's the right one. He's rarely making mistakes. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, yeah, sure, you could plug a lot of quarterbacks in there and they'll probably succeed, but he's not making stupid mistakes. Obviously, with a great run game, a great defense, it's pretty easy, but he's looked good. He made some great throws. He had that perfect ball to Ayuk, and Ayuk dropped it.
That was a perfect pass.
Yeah. That was a big-time NFL throw, and he made it. And the thing about the 49ers is the last few years, they've reminded me of – I can't stop thinking about it, but they remind me of the 2011 through 14 Seattle team. They had a young Russell Wilson, a great run game with Marshawn Lynch, and a defense that literally was breathing down your throat for 60 minutes. And that's literally what I see when I watch the 49ers. Another great team. They kind of showed they're going to be up probably in the NFC Championship again this year. Tough first week opponent on the road for the Jets. Not shocked at that.
Prime time going to San Francisco. It's a tough place to play, and San Francisco showed up and did what they were supposed to do.
That defense, man, is going to be fun to watch and a problem yet again this year.
Yeah. Real quick, let's look back at the Sunday Night Football overtime.
Yeah.
We go over this quick, but should the overtime rules change? I'm kind of going back and forth on this as I think about it. I think for the regular season, I don't mind how it is right now. If the Rams would you want to see the Rams get the ball and see if they can go drive? Yes. But from a defensive perspective, it's your job to get a stop when the other team gets the ball.
Yeah.
But with the recently over the past decade with the NFL rule changes, like it's a lot harder for defenses to make those big stops just with penalties and just how you can tackle now.
Yeah.
But I see both sides of the coin from yes, give the other offense a chance, but defense also it's your time to step up and make a stop. How are you feeling about the overtime rules?
I'm back and forth on it too. I think I do land on the other side of it should be changed in the sense of like I do get that it is regular season, so it's not as important, we'll say, of an overtime as maybe in the playoffs where the rules do change. And then obviously people compare it to college, they want something like that as well. I would say I lean more towards just the NFL playoff where both teams get an opportunity. And I think the reason being is like this loss for the Rams in about 2 months could come back in a playoff push or something. And I think that they should just change it fully. We already had a change this year, the kickoff rule. I don't see why we can't maybe tweak or talk about the overtime rules and maybe make it somewhat of a different, or allow teams to get a chance, another opportunity to, really show like who should win the game. And again, have these things not be a factor down the road as much as the Rams maybe in a couple months say, well, if we, that overtime game that we lost to Detroit, if we win that, maybe we're different. Maybe they get it home field in the playoff. You never know.
I do think college does overtime the best way.
Yeah.
As far as the better team in that moment winning the game.
Yeah.
If they do change it, I think they should just completely drop what they have now and just go to the college rules.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I like the point you made of somebody's going to win the game. Like somebody will win the game. That's the biggest thing for the NFL. They need to change.
All right, let's look back at our week 1 picks. Go ahead, Matt. Take it over.
So last week, I went 13-3 somehow.
Cooked.
I did kind of cook a little bit, and you ended up finishing 7-9. I'll recap the games that we both won on. We both won on the Houston Indianapolis game. We both won on the Buffalo Cardinals game. We both were right about the Panthers Saints game, the Raiders going to Chargers, the Bucs and Commanders game, and then the Seahawks and the Broncos. Those are all the ones we got right. The ones we defer on are the Ravens Chiefs, the Steelers Falcons, the Green Bay Philly game, the Rams and Lions, the 49ers and Jets, and lastly, the you're believing in the Giants versus the Vikings.
I didn't believe in Sam Darnold, and he proved me wrong. That guy is winning the MVP. They're beating the 49ers this week.
Okay. And then there was a couple games where we both got them wrong. Again, we weren't really expecting the Titans to look and come out and take a doo-doo like that. The Bengals losing to the Patriots,
the
and then
should have won that game.
Yes, I agree.
I think one of their head coaches, someone on the Titans organization, said if we just punted on 1st and 10, we would have won.
Yeah, I think it was the head coach.
Was it the head coach? Yeah.
Yeah. The best thing that I've seen, one of the best things, is the Will Levis, or not the Will Levis, sorry. The picture after the pick six, the toss play, when he just had his hands on his head, that's the funniest thing I've ever. He just sat there,
mayonnaise in his coffee, so he's gonna throw a pick six every now and then.
He just like sat there on his knees, just like in the most dramatic pose. That was hilarious. But anyway, looking back at the picks, overall,
I did not cook.
You did not cook.
I took some underdog. I took some chances on some underdogs, but it's fine.
You did. You had the Giants. Interesting call.
Had the Giants. Had the Packers.
Had the Rams on the road.
Had the Rams. They should have won that game, I think.
Yeah.
They didn't. The Browns suck.
We both were wrong on the Browns.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I did well. I'm happy about it. 13-3. I'll take that.
I'll bounce back. I'm not worried. Long season.
Yeah, you got time. We're going to look, actually, in a little bit, we'll look at week 2 picks. So we'll see if Jay's going to change and bounce back.
Don't worry.
Bounce back from that. All right. That's pretty much it for the NFL. We'll come back to that in a little bit with week 2. But let's talk about some college football. Yeah. Let's not forget college football exists. We're going to look ahead to week 3 of the college football matchups. We're going to also make our picks.
Not the best slate, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, not a good slate. We'll make our picks real quick, and then we're going to talk about the matchup of the week. Let's get it started. Let me get to my notes. We have number 20, Arizona goes to Kansas State, number 14. Who you got in this one? What are you thinking?
This one's tough. I'm gonna take Arizona on the road. I'm taking Arizona on the road. I don't really know why, but I like Arizona. I think they're 6.5-point underdogs. Give me Arizona outright on the road, getting a big win at Kansas State.
I like that. And you want to know why? Because I agree. They came out week 1, scored 61 points. They kind of had a lull last week against Tulane. But I have a feeling, like you said, they're going to come in. And I think they're winning this game outright as well. I think it'll be a good game. One of the only 2 ranked matchups we have. But yeah, I got the Wildcats, baby.
The Wildcats.
Let's go.
Kansas State prison.
They got the softest mattresses out there. Let's go to the second game of the week we're going to talk about, and we'll go with number 16, LSU. Goes to South Carolina. I'm going to start off with this one. I got South Carolina winning this one at home. They're coming off a dominating game against Kentucky. They held that team to 183 total yards, and the biggest stat from last week, they held that quarterback to 44 passing yards. I'm not sure of the last time I've seen something that bad in my life. So I think they're going to give LSU some problems.
50 less than Caleb Williams.
That's actually terrible. Yeah, I'm taking South Carolina. I think this is a game that I think they're going to squeak into the top 25 after they win.
See, I'm going to go the other side. I think LSU wins this game. I don't love it. South Carolina's going to be a tough place to play. They're going to break this. This is one of the biggest, might be the biggest game in their season. But I just think LSU has the better personnel. That's why I'm picking them. I just think they have better players overall. Yeah. South Carolina didn't look great week 1. I don't know if South Carolina's dominating performance was because they're dominant or Kentucky is just buns.
I think it leans more to Kentucky is buns.
Yeah. So I think LSU just has the better player, so I'm going LSU.
Okay. That's fair.
Moving on, we have Memphis. The Memphis Tigers.
Tigers, baby.
Going to the 0-2 Florida State Seminoles.
Oh,
how are you feeling about this one?
Believe it or not, so I had Memphis in my listen, let me explain. I had Memphis in the 12th spot in my playoff prediction. I have them winning the American the AAC or whatever it's called, that conference. They're 2-0 coming into this game. I like them. They've dominated in the first 2 games. They didn't just win. They have a point differential of 78-17 coming into this game. And we have them going to the doo-doo cheek butter FSU Seminoles.
If FSU loses this game, the school might burn to the ground. I don't even know.
I got the Tigers coming in and beating FSU, baby. I don't care.
Oh, baby.
Until FSU proves me wrong. Because they're no, listen, I have a reason for this. I picked them to win the ACC this year, and they've made me look stupid. They're probably going to do it this week. They're going to win. They're going to beat Memphis. But I don't think so. I don't care. Give me the Tigers, baby.
Okay. I like it. I'm picking FSU. Yeah. I'm just going to be reasonable.
That's fair.
Hopefully their school survives this week and gets a win. Because if they go 0-3, I don't even know what's going to happen.
They might all just leave.
They just might just suspend the
football program. They're gonna lock the doors like Coach Carter did.
Yeah, everyone's just gonna go show up to practice and everything's gonna be locked. Go find another sport to play.
Oh, all right. Next game is the other ranked matchup. We got 24 Boston College going to number 6 Missouri. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm going to take Missouri. I think Boston College, I don't think they're the 24th best team in the country. It's going to be hard to go on the road and play at Missouri. So just give me Missouri.
Yeah.
Money line.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on this one, and I kept it short in my notes. Fun fact, the Missouri Tigers have not given up a point all season. They are 89-0 in point differential. So I'm going to go with the 85 Bears at home on this one until they give up a point. I questioned if they were the sixth best team. Looking at it, they might be the sixth best team. They haven't given up a point. Yeah. So give me the Missouri
Tigers. All right, moving on to a Texas A&M and Florida. Big name matchup, both outside of the top 25 to start the season. What are you thinking about Texas A&M, the Aggies going to the Gators?
So I was back and forth on this one looking at it. I think it's a very close spread, too. I think it's like 3 points, 4 points.
4.5, I think A&M is favored.
Yeah, I'm going to actually go with Florida on this one. Both teams are coming into this losing week 1, but bouncing back big in week 2. I just think the Gators have a better roster. They should, technically speaking, and they're at home. It's a tough place to play in the swamp. I think they bounce back from what they looked like against us at home week 1. I think they take care of this. They also put up 632 yards of offense last week. I think they ride that wave and kind of take care of Texas A&M at home.
Okay. I'm going to go the other side here. I'm going to take Texas A&M. I think they had a bad loss to Notre Dame week 1.
Yeah.
Bounced back. They were ranked, I believe, 14th in the country to start the season.
Something like that, yeah.
I think they have a better team than Florida. Tough place to play going on the road. But give me the Aggies. Maybe if they get this win, they creep back into the top 25.
Yeah, I definitely think that'll be a good game.
For
again,
sure.
Neither of them in the top 25, but overall, I think that's a good game.
And then we have your favorite team, the Colorado Buffaloes, going on the road to Colorado State.
Listen right now, everybody. Listen to me. I'm going with the Buffaloes. But if they lose this game, we're done talking about them for the rest of the year. We're not, because they're going to be talked about all year. But good Lord have mercy. I wrote down in my notes in all caps, this is a must-win game in Colorado. They cannot lose this game. They have too many good opponents coming up in the schedule. We've already talked about that multiple times now. Again, they need a win here. They need to bounce back off of getting their behind reared in by Nebraska. They got to fix the problems. They have to show signs of some improvement in the coaching staff, in the film, in the preparation this week. Obviously, the goal for them should be a big win against Colorado State, but they just need a win. They need a win now, and it would help them down the road a lot.
Yeah. Same matchup as last year. Colorado, the Buffaloes, they beat TCU week 1 last year, beat Nebraska week 2, and then they were, I think, over 20-point favorites against Colorado State, and they barely escaped them last year at home. Yeah. Now they go to Colorado State. I'm still gonna believe in the Buffs here. We'll see how they treat me, but I'm gonna take the Buffs as well.
Yeah, need a win. Need a win on Saturday. Let's break down a little bit more of, again, not a great slate of college football, but definitely the best matchup of the week most likely is number 16, LSU, going into Columbus, playing South Carolina. Let's break that down a little bit.
Yeah, so LSU's looking to make it 8 straight wins over South Carolina. LSU obviously loses the opener to USC, bounce back with kind of an unimpressive win against Nicholls State. Who they gave up 21 points to Nicholls State. I don't even think I've heard of
the Colonels.
I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Nicholls or Nichols?
I don't know who they are.
But on the other side of the ball, South Carolina barely beat an Old Dominion team by 4 points in week 1, and then go on the road, get a huge win over Kentucky, dominating them 31-6. This is a big game for both teams. LSU's trying to hold their season together with Scotch tape right now, and then South Carolina could prove that they're for real. They're 2-0. I'm assuming they probably cracked the top 25 with a win over LSU.
Yeah.
This is LSU's first true road game. Their first game was a neutral site game, and then the Gamecocks. They're gonna bring everything they have. It's not gonna be an easy environment. The Cocks get rowdy at home. I can already see it. The camera shot of Brian Kelly is just blank face in the fourth quarter when they're down by 10, just like I just lost my job. But yeah, that's how I'm looking at the LSU game. It's a must win for LSU, but South Carolina's not going to roll over for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. Nice little SEC matchup. This is actually the first time, not first time, but College Game Day returns to Columbus for the first time in 10 years. So like you said, that environment is going to be rocking in Columbus. Like we talked about, South Carolina's coming off a big win against Kentucky last week. They were actually dogs in that game, believe it or not. And
I believe a touchdown dogs as well.
Yeah, on the road, they came out and dominated from start to finish in that one. I think they're going to take that momentum into the LSU game. And like you said, if they win, they'll crack the top 25. That'll be the first time since 2022. So it's been 2 years for them to do that. I think the key matchup in this, though, is LSU's offense coming off that big performance last week, and then the Gamecocks' defense coming off their big performance from last week. I think those two sides of the football meeting, I think that's the key matchup. LSU's quarterback, Garrett, he threw 6 touchdowns last week, put up a lot of points, and they looked far better. They looked far
State.
They looked far better than they did week 1. They also they need to find a little bit of ways to get success on the ground as well, though. Their leading rusher had 19 yards against the Colonels last week. That's not going to work against the Gamecocks. But another matchup to look into a little bit is the LSU D-line versus the Gamecocks O-line. A little fun stat here. The Gamecocks O-line has the second most negative plays coming into week 2 in the country. Not good. Not a good look for the front guys up front there. So LSU needs to take advantage of that, setting the tone of the line of scrimmage. We kind of talked about that, about the 49ers. Winning the line of scrimmage battle usually leads to a lot of success in the result of the game. So LSU needs to take advantage of that. They only have 2 sacks on the season, and they gave up a lot of yards last week on the ground. So they need to kind of look and figure out what they can do to win that battle. But yeah, my last point, like you talked about, this is maybe Brian Kelly's biggest game at LSU. I mean, good Lord. There's already talks about, his future there as head coach, his job security. So I don't want to say it's a must win, but for them to stay in the hunt for the playoff, they're 16th right now. Obviously, this is a big game on the road. But if they want to stay in the hunt and compete with the teams like Utah and those guys around there that are sitting in those, from 11 to about 15 spots, they're going to need to win this game.
It's a must win for LSU.
Yeah.
If they want their season to be how they are expecting it to be.
Yeah. A big game. It's similar to the Clemson week 1 with Dabo. Again, another big game for another SEC coach. Yeah, Brian Kelly. I mean, they gotta come out and prove to a lot of people. Yeah,
they haven't shown anything yet.
Prove to
a 14-point win against Nicholls State or a 20-point win. Like giving up 21 points to that team is not good.
It's crazy, especially when your quarterback throws 6 touchdowns and you guys.
That's the only reason they won.
Yeah, gotta show something for LSU. But that's our college football week 3 look ahead, our picks, matchup of the week. We'll see how that pans out. Let's look ahead to week 2 of the NFL,
the National Football League.
Let's get that schedule up. Let's go with our picks. If you want to start us off.
Yeah, so Thursday night football, we have a division matchup. The Bills go down to Miami. How you feeling about this one on Thursday night prime time?
It's funny. My predictions for the year, I had Miami winning this game. And something, I don't know, the way I woke up this morning, I guess, I'm taking Buffalo on the road. I think that they looked better than Miami week 1. I think Miami should have honestly lost to Jacksonville. And yeah. I think Buffalo goes in and steals a close, gritty division game. I got Buffalo.
I don't know how I feel about this one. I've been going back and forth as well.
It's
a close game.
Yeah.
Division game. I'm going to go the other side. I need to catch up to you and as far as a record goes. So I'll pick the Dolphins. Hopefully they can get one at home. Maybe the Tyreek Hill thing. The offense started kind of slow. They didn't really know what was going on. They definitely should have lost to the Jags.
Yeah.
But they did show up in the fourth quarter and get it done when they needed to. So give me the Dolphins.
All right. Fair enough. Next game, we got the Raiders going to your Baltimore Ravens. I'll make this quick and simple. I know the Raiders look they played well last week for about 3 quarters. But I got Baltimore winning. I think you guys bounce back and win
I
maybe
hope so.
convincingly here.
I hope we win. We are the biggest favorites on the board, which doesn't make me feel that great. I think we should win this game, obviously, but this is like a game that we lose somehow. I don't know, but I'm picking the Ravens, of course.
Yeah.
Moving on to maybe the worst team in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers host Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert and J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards
and everybody
on the Chargers, because that's how football works. Who do you got in this one?
Probably the easiest answer of the week. I have the Chargers winning this one.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be as bad as last week.
No, I think the Panthers play a little bit better, hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, hey, me and you could go to this game pretty much for like $2.
I mean, the plane ticket will just be like, all right, that's the cost of my ticket to the Panthers game.
They're just giving away tickets in Carolina at this point. So I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one.
Yeah, I'm also going with the Chargers as well. It's pretty easy for me.
Yeah. So we have an interesting game next. What looked like, obviously, the dominant, I guess, Saints go into Dallas and take on the highest paid player of all time, the Cowboys. What are your thoughts about this? I know the Saints looked good.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, they looked good against the Panthers, which who knows?
Yeah.
Derek Carr looked good. The Cowboys also, I mean, I don't know if the Cowboys looked okay, but the Browns just looked horrible.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys at home. I think it's the right pick. Saints are going to have trouble. They have a good defense, but I think the Cowboys' offense gets it together a little bit more. I think Dak gets the ball to CeeDee Lamb, and he has a big day.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Dallas in this. I think this will show like what the Saints kind of are, if that was a little bit fluky week 1, but I do have Dallas winning this one. Next up is our matchup of the week, actually. The Bucs go to Detroit, the Sunday night winners in overtime. Baker coming off of 4 touchdowns. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think this is going to be a good matchup. Obviously, Baker played really well against the Commanders. I think he's going to have a similar type of performance if he's going to win this one against the Lions. The Lions have a pretty good defense, better than the Commanders. It's going to be a tough one. The Bucs defense did give up 20 points to Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And the Lions have a premier offense in the league. So I like the Lions in this one. I think they get it done at home. But I do like the Bucs. I like the way they played in week 1, but I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah. Another one we agree on. I think that the Bucs could keep it close. I think that does fall on the hands of Baker and how he plays. But yeah, I do have Detroit winning this, but I think this could be a solid game. Like I don't think they're going to kill him or anything.
No, I agree. Moving on to the Colts and the Packers, the Jordan Loveless Packers. And for that reason and that reason only, I am taking the Colts to go into Green Bay. It's not going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be as easy as everyone thinks.
Yeah.
The Packers have a really good defense, and they're playing in Lambeau. But I do think the Colts get this one done just because Malik Willis, I believe, is the starting quarterback for the Packers this week.
Yeah, he is.
So that for that reason only, I will be taking the Colts.
Yeah, another one we agree on. I have the Colts winning as well. Big loss, like we talked about for the Packers. Yeah. It's going to be tough to, I think, move the ball on the Colts defense. Yeah, I got the Colts winning this one. I don't think it'll be blowout, and I think you hit it head on the nail. I think a lot of people are going to think that the Colts are just going to walk in and win this game easily, and that's not the case.
I mean, Joe Mixon did run for 150 yards on the Colts, and they got Josh Jacobs, who was probably going to touch the ball 30 times.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, if Green Bay wants to win this game, it's going to come down to the run game and that defense. So, next game we're going to go to is the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns go into Jacksonville. Do you think Jacksonville bounces back, or do you think the Browns bounce back? Both lose week 1.
I think the Jags get it done at home. I think without Nick Chubb and with the way that the Deshaun Watson played in week one, I don't think that's going to be enough to beat the Jags. Trevor Lawrence didn't look amazing in week one, but I think they bounce back, get a win, just because the Browns just look so bad. And then the news with Deshaun Watson, like, is that going to be something? I think he's going to play. Obviously, the NFL isn't doing anything about it, but allegations or whatever, that locker room doesn't seem like it's like cohesive. I know on a fumble, I saw a video on a fumble when Deshaun Watson fumbled or someone on the Browns fumbled. The offensive lineman didn't pick up Deshaun Watson, let him sit on the ground. So there could be something going on there. That's why I'm picking the Jags.
Yeah, I literally agree with everything you just said because I have the Jags as well. I think the Jags actually bounce back a little bit here, and I think they could win
Get the
this
offense
game.
going. It's going to be tough against that defense, but
I think they could. I think it's one of those games where it's kind of close throughout the first half, maybe the third quarter, and I think the Jags pull away a little bit at home. I think they need a game like that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the 49ers going to Minnesota and Sam Darnold, the best quarterback in the NFL. What do you think about this one?
Oh, man. So I was right about the Vikings. They looked good. I mean, I know they played the Giants, so that was kind of whatever.
Yeah.
But I think at home, I think that the start of this game, they might actually play with a lot of energy, come out after that win. They're obviously they know who's coming into town. Like, they're going to have to play well. But unfortunately, they are playing the best roster in football. And I think, like the Jags, I think the San Francisco 49ers pull away in the second half. I have San Francisco winning this game.
I'm gonna take the Vikings.
No, you're not.
Taking the Vikings and Sam Darnold. I wasn't a believer.
I just fell out of my
I wasn't a believer last week in Sam Darnold. But the way he played, he looked good. I think the Vikings defense can prepare. They know Christian McCaffrey. I'm pretty sure he's not playing. They can stack the box on 49ers. Hopefully they can watch the film from Monday night. They can make adjustments. And Sam Darnold, I think he can get it done. Justin Jefferson might have a big game.
I think you're crazy, but we'll see how that pick turns out.
It'll be fine.
Let's get on to the next one. We have the Seahawks, the Birds, going into New England, the 1-0 New England Patriots, beating the Bengals last week. I'll make this one quick. I think, not that New England's bad or anything, but I think Seattle wins this game. I'm not sure if it was a fluke of what happened last week, but I think Geno Smith and the boys, I think that offense comes in and I think they're tough. They're tough to stop.
I'll make it quick. So I'm going with Seattle. I mean, the Bengals are bad. So the Patriots won, of course. But give me the Seahawks.
Okay. We both agree on that one.
Yep.
Interesting game. Next one to talk about, the both 0-1 Jets and Titans play in Tennessee. Who do you think is going to bounce back? Another question on who's going to bounce back and who's going to take the victory in week 2.
Yeah, I think the Jets defense is going to take a lot of flack for the week 1 performance, but I think they really get it together and shut down Will Levis and this defense. And then Aaron Rodgers gets it going a little bit, puts up some points against the Titans. So give me the Jets.
I agree with this one as well. For this game and the Jags game, the Jags and Browns game, I put 2 stars next to them because I was so unsure of who to pick in this. Like, both of these teams didn't look how they're going to look like they were in week 1. I feel like both of these teams are far better than the way they looked. It's a tough decision because the Titans at home, I could see them winning this game, and then I can obviously see the Jets winning this as well. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. I think they need to win this game more so than the Tennessee does. So give me Rodgers and the Jets. I think they bounce back and get it done. I think it could be like an ugly-ish kind of game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything, but I got the Jets.
Nice. Now we got an in-division game, Giants and Danny Dimes versus Jaden Daniels, the rookie, who didn't look bad in his debut.
Yeah.
And the Commanders. What do you think about this one?
I'm taking the Commanders in this one. I'm really low on the Giants. I have them winning like 2 games this year, and they're definitely not one of them is on the road to against the Commanders here. So give me Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I agree. I think Brian Robinson Jr. looked really good, and Austin Eckler on the Commanders looked really good as well.
Yeah.
And Jaden Daniels had some pretty good on the fly running plays, running like scrambles as a quarterback. So give me the Commanders.
Yeah, I agree.
And we go to the go to Arizona. The Rams are actually underdogs versus the Cardinals on the road. How you feeling about this one?
Crazy. I think this might be the sleeper game of the week here. If Arizona does play like they did last week against Buffalo, obviously the Rams are a good team. They're a well coached team, but this could be a bit of a sleeper good game to watch. I do have the Rams winning slightly in this one. I do think that it will be a closer game, and I think this could be a nice little overtime or a bit of a higher scoring game. But I have the Rams in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one as well. I like the Rams. The offensive line does worry me. The injury to Puka Nacua is big, but I don't think it hurts the Rams as much as the O-line offensive injuries do.
Yeah.
But I still think Matthew Stafford leads this team into Arizona, play inside probably, unless they keep the roof open, but I don't think they will. And get a nice win. I think the Cardinals regress a little bit. I don't think the Bills are as good as a team as everyone thinks they is. If Josh Allen wasn't like Superman, like they lose that game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Next game, we got my Steelers go into Denver, into Mile High, and take on the Broncos. What are your thoughts on this one?
I don't know. I think this might be a 3-0 game at the end of the game. I don't know what to think of this. The Steelers defense looked like the best defense in the league. The Broncos didn't look – they looked subpar. Bo Nix made a lot of mistakes in that game. And I think the Steelers can capitalize even more than the Seahawks can. And then I think the Steelers win this game. I think Justin Fields – might have a big game on the ground, just making plays with his feet. Pickens looked good. He had some – Justin Fields can throw the deep ball a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the best thing about his passing game is he can throw the deep ball. So give me the Steelers on the road against a rookie QB and Bo Nix.
Yeah. Yet another game that we agree on. I think that the worst recipe for a rookie quarterback is when you face a good defense. And unfortunately for Bo Nix, his welcome to the NFL week 2 is – playing us, and I have us winning this game. Could be low scoring. I would like to see the offense gel a little bit, especially if they know if they've told Fields, hey, you're playing this week for sure. I would like to see that offense kind of look a little bit better. Yeah. I know the Broncos, maybe could put up a little bit of a fight, but I would like to see us, look a little bit better offensively. But I do have the Steelers winning this one.
Yeah. Then we go to a big one, probably the headliner of this week. Joe Burr and the Bengals go to Kansas City. How you feeling about this?
Yeah, like I said earlier, the two teams that look like they're already in November is the 49ers and these Chiefs. And with that at home at Arrowhead, until they show signs of slowing down or getting knocked off, I'm going to go with the Chiefs until they lose. So, the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm also on the Chiefs this one as well. I don't know. Is T. Higgins playing this week? I'm not sure.
I don't think they announced it yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
That's either. A big loss for them. I mean, when it's just Jamar Chase and then there's no one else really that's getting open, it's hard for Joe Burrow to, being the overrated quarterback that he is, put the team on his back because he's not going to ever do that. He needs the best wide receiver core in the NFL to be good. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
I think one thing to look at that game, because we're not breaking it down or anything, but just a quick note. I think Lamar's and the Ravens offense, I think you guys had so much success against them to keep in that game because Lamar's plays on the ground, escaping the pocket and extending the drives when needed. Burrow obviously is not going to do that on the ground. And
Chris Jones might have 3 sacks in this game.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, that's what the Ravens are. It's not a bad thing, but you guys in the air weren't lacing up, down their defense or anything. Lamar had to make plays to keep in that game, which is what he does. That's what he gets paid to do. But Joe can't do that. Obviously, no one in the league can really do that. But that's a problem because the Chiefs' defense is good and they're at home. Yeah, that's
the best part of their defense is their defensive line, and they're gonna feast.
Yeah.
Then we go to Sunday Night Football. Caleb Williams and the Bears go to Houston. And I'll just make this one quick. Give me the Texans.
Yep, I agree. Again, like I said with Bo Nix, one of the worst things for rookie quarterbacks is facing good defenses or good teams, good coaches. This is one of those problems. I got Houston winning big at home.
And then to wrap up week 2, the Falcons go to Philly and Saquon and the Eagles.
I'm hoping to God Michael Penix plays in this game by halftime. I've got the Eagles. I think Saquon scores 17 touchdowns. I'm already over the Falcons. I had them winning their division, but Kirk just looked so bad week 1, I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, I have the Eagles winning as well.
Start the kid, baby.
Saquon looked really good for the Eagles. I don't see that stopping against the Falcons. I think the Falcons do play better. The Eagles' defense is not the Steelers' defense, but the Eagles get a win here.
Yeah. Those are our picks. We'll see how we do. Again, 13-3, 7-9. We'll see how that changes after this week. Let's look and break down when
the Vikings win. I think how many were we different on? Just one?
Yeah. We had a lot of agreements this week, so we'll see how that pans out. Maybe we both suck this week. Who knows? Let's break down our matchup of the week. Tampa Bay, the Bucs. Baker Mayfield, the Oklahoma legend, goes to Detroit. Breaking down a little bit, this is a rematch of last year's divisional round in the playoffs. That final score was 31-23. Detroit came out on top. I will say that I picked them to win. I could see it kind of shaping up just like it did last year. I think the big win on Sunday, like we hinted on earlier, with the culture change in Detroit, that's the biggest thing to take away. Like you said, maybe 3-4 years ago, the Detroit Lions would have probably threw a pick six to end that game on that 2-minute drive. Now they're winning, getting the ball and running it down the throat and winning in overtime, big overtime Sunday night game. So, but the Bucs, they are coming off a convincing win, 37-20 against the Commanders, led by Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns. He played great. I'm glad to see that he is playing really well there, and that's a good sign for Tampa Bay. The Bucs defense did look good, but they did play Jaden Daniels. Not that he played bad or anything, but this is a much different offense in Detroit. Jared Goff and that offense, like you said, they're a perennial offense of power in the league. So the Bucs, I think that's the key matchup, the Bucs defense versus this Lions offense. The Lions, as of today, have a 67.6% chance to win this game, according to Vegas. I don't, however, think it's going to be that easy. I think this is going to be a good game. Like we said earlier, it's going to have to kind of depend on Baker Mayfield and how he plays, though. But I think this could be like a 1-3, point game. But tough environment for the Bucs to go into. That's why I do have the slight edge to Detroit. But I wouldn't be shocked if this is another preview for maybe a rematch in the playoffs down the road. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what you said a little bit. I loved how Baker Mayfield played in week 1. 24 for 30 for 289 yards, 4 tuds. I'm a known Baker Mayfield hater in the past, but he did prove me wrong, and I'm happy that he found a home down there in Tampa and is playing well. A key piece, I think, for that Bucs offense could be a two-headed monster that is emerging in that backfield. Bucky Irvin, the rookie from Oregon, had some explosive runs late in that game against the Commanders. The Bucs defense, like you said, did give up 20 points to Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Could be a concern going into Detroit, but I also agree that the outcome of this game is going to be dependent on how Baker Mayfield plays. But yeah, that's all I got for that game.
Yeah, let's get into Jay's best bets, baby.
Let's gamble on sports. Recap of last week. I actually had a really good last week. If you tuned into the episode last Thursday, 7-3 on the best bets. We started cooking a little bit. Let's recap. We did have Syracuse +3. They said, keep the points. We will actually go get the W. Easy money. Oklahoma State -7.5 was not looking good to start the game, but they do cover that in overtime because they respect coin. And Boise State and Oregon over 65.5. That game was soaring over from the start. I went 3 for 3 on NFL player props. Saquon over 15.5 receiving. He got that on one play on that touchdown reception. Pollard over 9.5 receiving. Josh Jacobs over 64.5 rushing in Brazil. All three of those cash. The spreads in the NFL didn't go as well. The Chargers -3. They cover that. I got hooked by the Dolphins -3.5. They won on a field goal to end the game. Unfortunately lost that. And the Rams do lose in overtime on a touchdown and did not cover the 4.5. I did like all those reads. Could have easily been a 10-0 sweep. But moving on to this week, starting in college, Ole Miss -22.5 against Wake Forest. This is their biggest test of the year. But Jackson Dart and that offense against Wake Forest, he's going to light it up. And I do think the Ole Miss defense is solid, something that people aren't talking about. They're going to hold Wake Forest to under 20 points.
Okay.
Kansas -7 against UNLV. UNLV has a good offense, but Kansas, I think 7 is too little against a team like UNLV. I think they cover the 7. Moving on to some player props in the NFL. James Cook, over 17.5 receiving yards on Thursday night against the Dolphins. He had 32 receiving yards in week 1 against the Cardinals. Josh Allen threw to 10 different targets in that game. I don't think he's going to do that every week. The receivers are going to be more condensed. It's going to be James Cook. It's going to be Keon Coleman. It's going to be Shakur. He's not going to throw to 10 receivers every week. And then Anthony Richardson, over 43.5 rushing yards against who do the Colts play? The Packers. He ran a little bit against the Texans. He did cover that line in week 1. I like him to do it again. And then piggybacking on that, the Colts -3.5 at the Packers. I just don't think without Jordan Love, the Packers are not a good football team. I don't believe they don't have like a viable game managing backup quarterback. And then Rams money line. The Rams are underdogs. We get the Rams at plus money going to Carolina. I love the Rams on the money line. That is what I got for the week.
Those are all hitting, by the way, if anybody.
That's a 6 for 6 card.
Be sure to use code Underdog.
Yes.
Or use code WOOD on Underdog Fantasy.
Wood
sorry.
On Underdog Fantasy. $1,000 deposit match. If you don't like money, then don't download it.
If you give them $1,000, they'll say, "Here's $1,000."
Yep.
That's how that works.
Or $100. If you want $100, they'll give you $100. Whatever you put in, they'll match it.
They say, "Hey, whatever you put in, we're gonna give to you."
Yes.
That's it. Do you want to wrap up this episode?
Oh, that's a great look into week number 3 in college, week 2 in the NFL. We are underway for the football season. That's all I got. Great episode.
Yeah, we're in the heat of football, baby. I love it. Interested, fun weekend to look at. I think next week is going to even look a little bit better. So,
and when the Vikings beat the 49ers, I'll come back to this point in time and clip this and be like, I told you Sam Darnold's the best quarterback in the NFL.
If he beats the 49ers, they better give him the MVP tomorrow. Or
he's throwing
Monday.
for 350. Justin Jefferson's going to have 150 yards receiving, 2 tuds.
This guy's an
Aaron
idiot.
Jones is going to feast.
This guy's a moron. I'm a moron. This sports show is signing off. We love you. Sam Darnold is the MVP of the league. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday, baby.
Go.